Hello, welcome to this medium games match. I'm here with J Nails,
Howdy.
and we're commentating Alibby versus TeamOkay.
All right, let's see what we got in this kingdom. Seems like a pretty straightforward engine, I would think. You've got trashing with Goat, draw with Old Witch and Sheepdog, actions with Border Village and University. University is your gains, and you'll pick up Wine Merchant for the plus buy.
Yeah, because of that engine, I don't think there'll be a ton of idols purchased, but
Yeah.
perhaps we'll see some. Do you like the early potion on this kind of kingdom?
I would think yes. There's good fives around, and University plays really well with Sheepdog. Nice mid-turn gainer to activate the other cheap draw source, which is the thing you'd be buying before hitting 5 anyway. Idle is probably not going to get gotten, not just because of the engine aspect, but also because I would expect curses to run early on with Old Witch. So like maybe you get an idle for the boons if you care about that for some reason. Probably not. But you wouldn't pick up multiple idols because the curses are not going to hurt.
Yeah, certainly.
Not to mention, Idle can randomly hex you here because, I mean, Mountain's hex can hurt on its own, but you can at least resolve that with Silver. The worst hex here is probably actually the Swamp's Gift because there's not a good way to get a second Will-O-Wisp.
Yeah, unless you get it with the Pixie, then you can get two, which is quite nice.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, from an Idle, Swamp's Gift is really terrible. You'd probably end up having to trash it, but that would hurt on the last turn.
Yes, there's so many villages that you can play with a lot of wine merchants, I think.
Yeah, I would think so. You might even see Cursed Villages get gained here at some point. Not even just because it's a particularly great card, but just because if your gains are all coming from universities, like mass university plays, then you're gonna have plenty of terminal actions to play, like tons of wine merchants and old witches and tormentors, perhaps more than your universities can cover. And Border Village isn't quite as easy to get because you can't gain it with uni. So you might just like gain some extra cursed villages to cover the action cost, since your draw is probably going to be abundant.
Yeah, and once you get the wine merchants coming in, then you'll have a bunch of payload you can spend.
Yeah.
It does look like it. Goat is a very slow trasher as these things go, and Old Witch is going to be giving out some curses, so you can do quite a bit to slow your opponent down if you can get ahead on a cursing.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's see what else they've done so far. I think Pixie Potion is totally fine. Sheepdog Potion also worth considering.
yeah, that was a little bit of a sad draw, but I think you have to play the Old Witch there to move the deck and to give the curse out. And
Yeah.
even though they were able to trash a curse from their hand, that's one curse they couldn't trash with the goat there.
Yeah, this Old Witch play went about as poorly as possible for Alibby. Their opponent didn't even get the curse, and they drew 2 universities dead. But obviously, there's no way to know that in advance. I don't think it was
Yeah, but they would have
was bad.
they would have gotten to goat the curse if they hadn't, so at least is a little bit of something. But
Yeah.
I also like the sheepdog play there to just move through the deck after having seen the good cards.
In compensation, TeamOkay has at least managed to hit 1 potion on their following turn. So the draws aren't seeming to favor either player all too much.
Yeah. You can imagine here there's a lot of ways to activate sheepdog pretty reliably.
Yeah.
Would you take 6 here as Alibby and get like Border Village something?
I think the answer to that is yes. I think I value the Border Village more than I value the trashing.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate that TeamOkay didn't contest the flag right away because they're trashing, but
Yeah.
I suspect that you'd much rather be playing, I guess, Wine Merchants and Tormentors as your terminals and Old Witches than Flag Bearers. So you do want to get it out of your deck as quickly as you can.
Border Village Sheepdog is an interesting choice, but I think that there's definitely some merit to that. Sheepdog is a really good card here.
Yeah, and your opponent's Old Witch can activate it as well, which is nice. Alibby bottom decking both of their universities.
These draws are just sad. I think just don't trash and border village again. No, they're gonna trash this time.
You're gonna take a cursed village?
I would definitely be demanding sheepdog there. Your university's on top, you can activate it.
Yeah, Alibby has felt like a little bit ahead there. Malo was saying border village, cursed village, which I don't know. You do need to thin these coppers out because eventually you're going to have curses that you have to thin out. So it's hard to pass up too many opportunities to trash early on in the game.
That's fair.
But certainly their deck seems to be needing villages, or at least to find the villages and draw cards together. The other thing to note is you kind of just ignore the scores in this kind of kingdom for a while with Wolf Den.
Yeah, so it's really hard for the Wolf Den scores to ever mean a whole lot, just because those negative points will naturally resolve themselves by the end of the game.
Although TeamOkay has 4 curses still in deck, so it is going to be tough for them to reliably kick off.
Yeah, TeamOkay looks pretty behind. I'm not exactly sure where or why that happened, because they're playing pretty similar decks, and neither's had amazing draws.
Yeah, these cursed villages and the 6-card starting hands do feel a little bit sad.
Yeah.
As curses go, that's not a terrible one. So border village something, another wine merchants, and you take the pixie or do you take the wine merchant off the mat?
Good question. I think I'd be inclined to take the pixie, but wine merchant choice seems fine as well. I guess I was taking the pixie under the auspices that they were going to take what you took, which was border village and a second wine merchant, which made it less necessary. If they want another old witch, then taking the wine merchant seems fine.
Especially because they can gain a wine merchant mid-turn with a university.
I'm actually not really convinced that this many old witches is good. I would think that sheepdog starts to look like much better draw.
Because it's essentially non-terminal.
Yeah, it is effectively non-terminal. The more universities you get, which in this kingdom can be a bunch. And also, like, look at the big curse split Alibby's got. Like, with 4 curses left in TeamOkay's deck, more old witches means those curses get trashed faster.
Yeah, and TeamOkay should absolutely trash the estate there first, right?
I would think so, yeah.
Because the curses can get trashed to the old witch and the estate can't. So see, if that was a curse instead of an estate, they would get to trash it this turn.
It's not even like trashing the curse is scoring you more points, because the estate is also their last estate, and so it's giving them -3 from Wolf Den, or functionally -2 because it's worth a point. But still, they'd also be scoring more by trashing the curse, or by trashing the estate, I mean.
But in general, this is also true with, I think, mountebank kingdoms. Sometimes you want to keep your curses over your estates for good reasons, to block your opponent's attacks with mountebank. It's similar with Old Witch.
Yeah, I agree with that. Even without Wolf Den, I think that would still be true.
And again, the only card you really worry about with Wolf Den, you have 1 potion, and I guess you can plan on your last turn, later in the game, trashing your potion with your goat. You do have 1 goat, but I think you take those -3 points. Although in some perfect scenario, you can get Flame's Gift once you're clean at the end of the game.
Take Flame's Gift from your final pixie on the last turn.
Yeah. Pixie's another thing to watch out for. You think you've got a pile out or something with Forest's Gift or Earth's Gift, and then you accidentally, once you've trashed the Pixie, you realize that your Wolf Den points have changed. But
wait, did Alibby trash the potion a while back? When did that happen?
Yeah, they must have decided that they're done buying universities.
Yeah, wow. Turn 6 that happened. I don't even notice that. I don't think I like that decision all too much. University seems like a really good card here.
Especially as like a 3rd or 4th buy when you've got a bunch of other stuff. Because they've got essentially overdraw at this point.
Yeah, like, there are some kingdoms where you take like a university or two, but don't overdo it. Like I was watching a game today in the Akuchi versus Paul Cristiano match, where it was like university plus wall, and at some point you're just like, I can't justify gaining anything off of this because it's negative points. This doesn't seem like one of those. Like
Yeah.
you want the actions, you got tons of draw. University plays great with Sheepdog, plays fine with Old Witch, and it can gain those cards for you.
And in that Akachi match, I definitely would have gained a few more things to activate my cities earlier, but Akuchi's a very good player, so I don't necessarily know that I'm bettering their line. I said earlier you can gain and play a wine merchant to take the wine merchants out of exile, but wine merchants don't go to exile; they go to the tavern mat. So, if anyone is quibbling, heard that and is confused, it confused me because we have now a new type of mat with Menagerie, and in my head, it's the same as the tavern mat, and obviously it's not.
Yeah, that is true. The wine merchant is sort of de facto exiled, but it is not, in fact, the same mat as the exile mat.
Yeah, and that was another spot TeamOkay should be trashing the estate, but I won't harp on it too much. Just as a pattern for them to look at in future games.
They just bought a Pixie for...
Could they have bought Border Village Pixie?
I guess they wanted to take the wine merchant off the mat. I don't think Pixie's better than Sheepdog. But they seem to think it is. Alibby does not draw.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. They have 4 Old Witches in the deck. Even if those are Sheepdogs, it wouldn't have helped much.
I thought that Alibby was big on Sheepdogs when they bought Border Village and their game was Sheepdog. I kind of liked that play. But since then, it seems like Sheepdogs have been on the back burner for both of these folks.
Yeah, it's almost like you use University to just gain Sheepdogs, and at some point, the first University gains a Sheepdog, and then you draw the rest of your deck because you have all the Sheepdogs. Yeah. You just have to make sure to have enough Universities and Border Villages to draw a few, and then kind of worry about payload later on.
Yeah, for real. And instead, we've got these 6 unwanted Sheepdogs just sitting in the pound, waiting for a home to take them in.
Yeah.
I need here is a good like Sarah McLachlan commercial.
Yeah, in the arms of an angel.
Yeah.
The terribly sad commercials.
$3 a day for one day. You can give a Sheepdog a home.
And Sheepdog is the second blue dog. Are you familiar with the blue dog lore?
Yeah, there was some rules clarification. I think it was it Ironworks Trader, where Donald X introduced some convoluted blue dog analogy.
That I recently read this, and it still makes no sense to me, but I suppose it turned its way into several fun Dominion cards, although I think Sheepdog is certainly a more fun card than Faithful Hound.
Yeah, I like both of them, but Sheepdog's definitely both much stronger and more fun. Faithful Hound with Artificer is real fun, though.
Yeah, so TeamOkay starts greening here, which makes sense. They still must have a lot of uniques that Alibby doesn't have.
As Alibby, I think I'd go for the win this turn. Just take an Old Witch right here.
Yeah, you've just got to find one more plus buy. So you find one more wine merchant and you get it.
Yep.
I wonder if there was something TeamOkay could have done there, a different buy than University Sheepdog to smooth out. They needed to buy maybe another flag bearer. A flag bearer is worth 3 points there instead of that University Sheepdog.
Yeah, that's quite possible. Although even 3 points wouldn't be enough to protect.
And you really shouldn't trash this curse as Alibby unless you've counted carefully, but it looks like they counted carefully. So, good game there for Alibby. Yeah, it seems like TeamOkay's deck was doing more in the end, but they had more uniques, and the game just kind of got pushed across the finish line.
Yeah, I like that they took more universities, but they were slower to get trashed. I'm not sure where that came from, but it feels like just their early-ish middle game, the deck didn't come online quite fast enough.
All right, I'll stop here and then rejoin for game two.